It's December the 3rd, 1942. The Axis forces have commenced a strong counter-offensive from Tunisia. Meanwhile, small incursions will be made in the Libyan zones under enemy control. The objectives? To cut supplies and communications, and gather information about the real strength of Rommel's forces. Your mission will be to cross enemy lines to the oil fields at Marada, south of El Agheila, and destroy the drilling rigs. This will divert some divisions of the Afrika Korps to the south.
Officer, this will be your starting position. And these are the 4 drilling rigs. Knock them down. And go eastwards where a vehicle will pick you up. That's all, officer. Good luck.
I'm ready. I understand. I agree. Fine. Whatever you say, officer. Fine. I see. Whatever you say, officer. Fine. I agree. Whatever you say, officer. I agree. Fine.
Alarm! Alarm!
I agree. I understand.
Alarm!
Fine. Fine. Whatever you say, officer. Fine. I agree. Whatever you say, officer. Fine. Whatever you say, officer. I agree. I understand. Whatever you say, officer.
Alarm!
I agree.
Ein Verletzter!
Fine. I see. I agree.
Alarm! Alarm! Ein Verletzter!
Fine. Whatever you say, officer. Fine. I agree.
Alarm! Alarm!
Whatever you say, officer. Fine. I understand. Whatever you say, officer. I see. Fine.
Ein Verletzter!
I agree. I see. Whatever you say, officer. I agree. I understand.
Alarm! Alarm!
Fine. Fine. I agree. I see. Fine. Fine. Whatever you say, officer. I understand. Fine. Fine. I agree. Whatever you say, officer. Fine. Whatever you say, officer. I understand. I agree. Whatever you say, officer. I see. I understand. I agree. I see. Fine. I agree. Fine. I see. Fine. Whatever you say, officer. Fine. I agree. Whatever you say, officer. I understand. Fine. Whatever you say, officer. I agree. Whatever you say, officer. I agree. Fine.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Consider it done. Coming. Coming over. I'm coming. Coming. I'm coming. That's easy. Just leave it to me. Okay. Coming over. I'm coming. Coming. Coming over. That's easy. Okay. Consider it done. Coming over. Okay. I'm coming. Mm-hmm. Just leave it to me. Coming.
I'm ready. I agree. Fine. Whatever you say, officer. Fine. I see. Fine. I understand. Fine. I agree. Whatever you say, officer. Fine. Fine. Whatever you say, officer. I understand. I see. I agree. I understand. I see. Whatever you say, officer.
Alarm! Alarm!
I agree. Fine.
Alarm! Alarm!
Fine. I agree.
Alarm! Alarm!
I
Alarm!
see.
Alarm!
Fine. Whatever you say, officer. I understand. Fine. Fine. I see. Fine. I agree. I understand. Fine. I understand.
Alarm! Alarm!
Whatever you say, officer. I see. Fine. I understand. Whatever you say, officer. I see. I agree.
Ein Verletzter!
Whatever you say, officer. I agree. Fine. Fine.
Alarm! Alarm!
I see. I agree. Fine. Whatever you say, officer. Fine. I agree. Whatever you say, officer. Fine. Whatever you say, officer. I agree. I understand. Whatever you say, officer. Fine. I see. I agree. Fine. Fine. I agree.
Ein Verletzter!
Fine. I understand. Fine. I understand. I see. I agree. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
I understand.
Coming.
I'm ready. Whatever you say, officer. I see. Fine. Fine. I see. I agree. I understand. Whatever you say, officer. Fine. Fine. I see. Whatever you say, officer. Fine. I agree. I understand. Whatever you say, officer. Fine. I understand. I agree. Fine. I agree. I understand. Fine. Whatever you say, officer. I see. Fine. I agree. Whatever you say, officer. Fine. I see. I understand. Fine. Fine. I see. Whatever you say, officer. Fine. I agree. Whatever you say, officer. I understand. I agree. Fine. Fine. I agree. Fine. I understand. I see. Whatever you say, officer. I understand. Fine. I agree. Whatever you say, officer. Fine. Whatever you say, officer. I see. I agree. Whatever you say, officer. I agree. Fine. Fine.
Guten Tag.
I see. I agree. I understand. Fine. Fine. Whatever you say, officer. Fine. I agree. I see. Whatever you say, officer. Fine. Fine. I understand. Whatever you say, officer. I agree. Fine. I understand. Whatever you say, officer. I agree. Fine. I agree. Fine. Whatever you say, officer. I see.
Guten Tag.
Mm-hmm.
That's easy.
Yes. Yep.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Yeah. Consider it done, boss.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll be right there. Sure thing. Finally, some action. No problem, man. Okie dokie. Consider it done, boss.
I'm ready. I understand. Fine. I see. I agree. Whatever you say, officer. Fine.
Guten Tag. Yeah, right away. No problem, man. Sure thing. I'll be right there. Finally, some action. Yeah, right away. Okie dokie. Right away. No problem, man. Finally, some action. Consider it done, boss. Finally, some action.
I'm ready. Fine. Whatever you say, officer.
Yeah, consider it done, boss.
I see.
No problem, man. Okie dokie. Consider it done, boss. Finally, some action. No problem, man. Consider it done, boss. No problem, man. Finally, some action. No problem, man. Alarm! Finally, some action. Sure thing. Consider it done, boss. Finally, some action. I'll be right there. Okie dokie. I'll be right there. Right away. Sure thing. Consider it done, boss. No problem, man. I'll be right there. Sure thing. Okie dokie. Right away. Sure thing. I'll be right there. Right away. Consider it done, boss. Finally, some action. Okie dokie. Right away. Okie dokie. Sure thing. I'll be right there. Okie dokie. No problem, man. Consider it done, boss. No problem, man. Finally, some action. No problem, man. Finally, some action. I'll be right there. Right away. Sure thing. I'll be right there. Sure thing. Okie dokie. Right away. Sure thing. Consider it done, boss. Finally, some action. Consider it done, boss. No problem, man. Mm-hmm. Just leave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. Coming. Coming over. I'm coming. Yeah. Yes, sir. I'll be right over. Fine, sir. Consider it done. I'll be there in a moment. I'll be right over. Understood, sir. I'll be there in a moment. Fine, sir. I'll be there in a moment. Okay, sir. Fine, sir. Understood, sir. I'll be right over. Fine, sir.
I agree.
Coming. Affirmative, sir. Yes, sir. Just leave it to me. I'll be right over. Understood, sir. I'll be there in a moment. Affirmative, sir. I'll be right over. Yeah. I'll be right there. Right away. Okie dokie. Right away. Okie dokie. Sure.